Hello YouTubers! I will be going through this week's games, review last week's tips and leaderboard of our footy tip comp, and also go through my Brownlow Votes for season 2025. Let's look at the final standing of my Brownlow medal predictor after round 24 games. In top spot, the winner is Dacos Collingwood with 38 votes, followed by B. Smith Geelong with 37 votes, and in third spot I have Noel Anderson of Gold Coast with 34 votes, and in fourth spot with 29 votes we have C. Sarong Fremantle, and to round out the top 5 with 27 votes we have Tom Green of GWS Giants. This is my top 5 predictor of the 2025 Brownlow medal after round 24, and I have Dacos as my winner. Let's look at my tips for round 24 and the catch-up game from round 0. Looking at that, I had Gold Coast incorrect against the Power. Also, Fremantle had a magnificent away win against the Western Bulldogs, silver spot in the top 8. And therefore, from the 10 games, I had 2 incorrect, and that was 8 out of 10 correct. Let's see the final standings of the Talking Everything AFL Footy Tips. In looking at the Talking Everything AFL Footy Tips for the 2025 AFL season, we have in top spot Patrick L32 with 147 tips, followed by 2 players joined in second spot with 144 votes. That includes me, Talking Everything AFL, and Red Dead Redemption. To round out the top 4 with 141 tips, we have I Am Hacks. These are my top 4 of the Talking Everything AFL Footy Tips, and I'd like to say thank you for everyone playing the Footy Tips for this season, and I will do it again this time for next season in 2026. Alright, before we continue, I would like to ask for a very small favour. If you enjoy this AFL content, please take a sec to subscribe to the channel and like the video. That would be awesome. Okay, let's return back to the show. The first game of finals is the qualifying final between Adelaide Crows and Collingwood Magpies, played on a Thursday night at Adelaide Oval, first versus fourth. The players in the mix for the Crows are McElhaney, Burgess, Murphy and Nankervis. For the Maggies, their players in the mix are Bobby Hill, Cox, Allen and Parker. Last time when these two teams played against each other, it was in round 23 where the Crows won by 3 points. It was a close game. Where the game will be won at, it's very hard to predict, because when you look at the ruck midfield setup, Collingwood's got the advantage in that area where you've got the ruckman of Cameron with the midfields of Pennerby, DeGoey, Long, Sidebon, Houston, whereas the Crows got O'Ryan and ruck with the midfields of Berry, Saligo, Dawson, Curtin and Cumming. I expect Collingwood to dominate that position, and like 2 weeks ago when they last played in round 23, Collingwood had 34 more inside 50. However, it's the Crows' forward. They're so efficient. You've got the big three of Philful, Walker, Fogarty, plus you have the midfields of your Keys, Neil Bullen, just to name. And Collingwood, it's likely that Howe will be injured. That's a big blow. Just looking at it, because the game is playing Adelaide, I can't decide between the two games. I want to say the Crows just by 1 point due to the home factor at Adelaide Oval. The second qualifying final is played between Geelong and Brisbane Lions at the MCG on a Friday night. The players in the mix for the Cats are Stevens, Clark and Closely. For the Lions, their players in the mix are Berry, the Big O, McInerney, Joyce and Brecken. Where the game will be won at, it's the ruck midfield set of the two respective sides. For Geelong, you got standing ruck with the midfields of Atkins, Smith, Holmes, with Blickaz and Dempsey on their respective wings. For the Lions, in ruck you got Fort with the midfields of Dunkley, Will Ashcroft, McCluggage. Then on their respective wings you got Zach Bailey and Jarrett Berry. Just look at the Lions midfield. I love that midfield. You've got brilliant players, Dunkley, Ashcroft, great up and coming youngster, Norm Smith medalist in last year's grand final. Then got McCluggage, who made all Australian. I like the Lions midfield. They got too much class. I expect the Lions to win the hitouts and stoppages and provide lots of inside 50s, where they got the forwards of your Logan Morris, Lomar, Cameron and Rayner plus Archie. And last year in the preliminary final, the Lions beat the Cats at the MCG. I'm expecting the same result with an upset. I'm going to say the Lions to beat Geelong by 12 points in a good game. First elimination final played between GWS Giants and Hawthorn Hawks is at Energy Stadium on a Saturday afternoon. The players in the mix for the Giants are lots of players: Daniels, Legg, Stringer, Kirkniglio, Hogan and Josh Kelly. For the Hawks, their players in the mix are McKenzie, Sarong, Reeves. Just looking at that, the Giants had some players in the mix, or plenty of players in the mix. However, they all come back from big injuries if they do play. Stringer from hamstring, Kirkniglio from concussion, Hogan by foot, and Josh Kelly with a calf injury. Where the game will be won at, it's the forward line of Hawthorn and the Giants defense. In defense for the Giants, you got Idem, Taylor, Hilbert, Linkalia, Aish and Whitfield. For the Hawks, up full, you got All-Australian Gumpson, Mitch Dawes, Ginneran, Wizard Watson, Charles, Dan Brosi. Just looking at that, I like the Hawthorn's balance of the forwards. You got the tolls in Lewis, Charles, Gumpson as third toll, and the two small forwards of Ginneran and Wizard Watson. Given that I like the Hawks full line, the Giants might be playing some injured players. I'm going to say Hawthorn in an upset to beat the Giants by 15 points at Energy Stadium in Western Sydney. The last game of the week is the second elimination final between Fremantle Dockers and Gold Coast Suns, played at Optus Stadium, Perth on a Saturday night. The players in the mix for the Dockers are O'Driscoll, Walker, McDonald and Switkowski. For the Suns, their players in the mix are Moyle, Corbin and Adams. Look at the two sides, they've got awesome midfielders. For Freo, you got like Jackson, Sarong, Brayshaw, Bolton, Wagner, Amira. The Suns, you got Litzenrug with Anderson, Rao, Davies, Fiorini and Miller. Both teams have pretty good midfield. I say that's pretty even. However, it's the three tolls of Fremantle that I reckon will win the game. You got Tracy, Patrick Moss, wide recruit, Jay Amos against McAndrew, Ulan and Collins. I believe, in my opinion, that Fremantle's toll free will kick plenty of goals and they'll kick a combined 10 goals, and that's going to be the difference of this game. And given that the game is played in Western Australia, Perth, this is Gold Coast Suns' first ever finals in the club's history. Fremantle back in finals since a couple of years ago. I'm going to say Freo to beat the Suns by 18 points. My tips of the 4 games of the week 1 AFL Finals are the Crows and the Lions to win their qualifying finals, and in the elimination final I tipped the Hawks and Fremantle. Thank you for watching my video, and it will be appreciated if you can subscribe and comment to my videos. Hopefully you enjoyed my video, and see you next time. Cheers or bye.